Hi, welcome back to our heuristic application lessons. Now, today we are going to look at online lesson 2. Alright, online lesson 2 on how do we apply this table method to solve hard problems. So once again, when do we use this method? We only use this method when it's a before and after problem. So if it's not a before and after problem, then we will have to think of model drawing. So let's look at number 1. Alright, number 1. So how do we solve? Now, Danny and Sally had some savings. Together, they donated a sum of $50. Danny donated 1/4 of his savings. Okay, so how do you do the arrow pointing? Now, it means that Danny's saving has four boxes, and Danny donated how many boxes? Danny donated 1. Okay, 1 box. Okay, all right, let's continue. After making a donation of $13, Sally found that she had $17 more in savings than Danny. So how much did Danny have at first, and how much savings did both of them have left? So it looks quite complicated. But again, you need to think about what is unchanged. So everything changed because both of them donated money, right? Did they donate equal amount? No. So the difference has also changed. Total has changed. Everybody has changed, right? Because both person donated money. All right, so let's draw the table, and you will see how effective the method is. Even if I don't know how to solve, all you have to do is you just have to learn your method or understand your methods. So you draw the table and you put down the BCA, and then you put down your Danny, Sally, and then total. Okay, all right. Now the unique characteristics of this table is, you just look at sentence by sentence, all right, and then you put the numbers into the boxes. So you look at the first sentence. Can you fill in the boxes? Cannot, right? Because there's nothing to fill in. Together, they donated a sum of $50. So where do you put the $50? There are 9 empty boxes here. So where do you put? You put over here. They donated a total of $50, which is the important number. Okay? And then Danny donated 1/4 of his savings. So it means that Danny has 4 units, and he donated 1 unit, and now he must have 3 units left. So you're until here already. Okay, and then after making a donation of $13, so who donated $13? Sally. So Sally must be minus 13, right? And then Sally found that she had $17 more in savings than Danny. So which means that Sally has more savings in the end, more than Danny's savings in the end. So how to put into the box? Now, so you look at Danny's saving. So Danny has 3 units, right? 3 units in the end. So Sally must have $17 more than 3 units. So it means that Sally has 3 units plus another $17 more. Okay, that is her money in the end. All right, so you're until here already. So how much did Danny have at first? So your question mark. And how much savings did both of them have left, which is the question mark. Total in the end, right? Total after. All right, so you're done already. So this is what you do with the table. Number 1, you have to fill in the boxes first. All right, number 2, what do you do next? You study your table and you fill in the empty boxes. So can you fill in any empty boxes? If you look carefully, yes, I can fill in the empty boxes. For example, I can fill in like this. All right, look carefully. Right, the table can flow. Right, how can it flow? It can flow this way. So can you find what is the total in the end? So 3 units plus 3 units, that will give you 6 units and $17 in the end, which is the total. All right. What else can you do? Now, you can also flow backwards, right? Like this, right? So I'm showing you the different ways to flow. You can flow backwards. So which means what? Which means that you have 3 units plus 17, and then you have to minus 13, right? There's a minus 13 on top. So when you flow backwards or work backwards, the minus 13 become plus 13. So you have 3 units, and then 17 plus 13, that will be $30. So you can also flow backwards, right? The table can move left to right. It can also go backwards. And then you can find the total. Total what? You can find the total at first. You take 4 units plus 3 units, that will be 7 units and $30, right? Okay, so you can fill the empty boxes. All right, now what else can we do? Right, if you look carefully, can you see how much is 1 unit? So Danny donated 1 unit, Sally donated $13. Total they donated is $50. So can you find how much Danny donates? You take 50 and you minus 13. So Danny must have donated $37, right? Okay, and donated means you have to minus. There's a minus in front because when you donate money, you minus. Okay, so what does it tell you? It tells you that your 1 unit is $37. So 1 unit equal $37. Okay, so how much did Danny have at first? And you look at the question mark, which is 4 units, which is 37 times 7. So what is 37 times 7? And that will be 37. Your 1 unit is 37, so 4 unit will be 37 times 7. 37 times 4, all right, not 37 times 7. 37 times 4, that will be $148. So Danny has $148, so you can put the important numbers inside because you haven't solved everything yet. You need to find how much they have all together in the end, which is the leftover. So you look at the leftover, which is 6 unit plus 17, right? Look at the total after. So 6 unit will be 37 times 6. So 37 times 6, you will get $222, and then you plus 17. So 222 and plus another 17. So how much do they have all together left? So you will have $239 left, which is their total savings left. Alright, and you solve your part A and part B already. So what have I shown you in this problem? I've shown you that the table can flow in different ways. It can go down, like in the earlier lesson. It can go up, right? You work backwards. It can also go from left to right, or it can also go from right to left, right? Working backwards. Alright, and then what else you do? Now, then you, from the table, you can try to see how many is 1 unit. And how do you see how many is 1 unit? You have 50, which is the total, and then you minus 13, and that gives you how much did Danny donate, which is 37. And you can see the same box. It means that your 1 unit and $37 are in the same box. So what does it tell you? It tells you that 1 unit is equal to 37. So look for the same box. Alright, if you see same box, it means they are equal. Alright, and once you know that 1 unit is $37, then you can solve the problem already. Okay, so that's your question 1. So let's go to question number 2. Alright, question number 2 is your 5-mark question, and looks a little hard to solve, but again with the method it's actually easy. So let's read. At the book fair there were 350 more women than men. 2/5 of the women and 1/4 of the men left the book fair. In the end there were 30 more men than women. So how many men were there in the end? So everything changes. Okay, so if everything changes and it's a before and after problem, then you do the same thing. You apply your table method, right? Table method. Okay, so let's draw the table method, or let's draw the table. And you have your BCA, and then you have your women, men, and the total. Okay, so how do we fill in the first sentence, or how do we look at the first sentence? Now there were 350 more women than men. So the men is the lesser group. So the lesser group must be 1 unit. Alright, the group that is the smaller is always 1 unit. Then the women will be 1 unit plus 350. Okay? Alright, go on to the next sentence. Oh, by the way, we can find the total, which is 2 unit and 350. Okay, 2/5 of the women left. What is the next lesson to know about table? Now you can put the 2/5, the whole fraction, you can put inside the box here. Why? Because there's something above. Alright, there's something in the before box already. Right, you can see that there's 1 unit and 350 women at first. So you can put the whole fraction into the box. And if you put the whole fraction in the box, then there must be 5/5, which is your 1 whole, or at first is your 1 whole. Then you minus 2/5 and you will get 3/5 left. So you have a family of fractions, right? So you have 3 fractions in the same family. Okay, alright, then you go to the next one. 1/4 of the men left. So again, I can put 1/4, which is minus 1/4, into the box because there's something in the before box for the men. Right? So if you see there's something inside already, then you can put the whole fraction inside. Now what happens if there's nothing inside the before boxes? Then can we put the fractions inside? We will not want to do that so that it won't confuse us. Alright, so if there's nothing in the before boxes, then what do we do usually? We will have to break out the fractions. Alright, so don't worry about that. You will come across that later on in the next few lessons. But just for today, right, you can put the whole fraction into the box because there's something inside the before boxes already. So if there's 1/4, then there must be 1 whole at first, and then you minus 1/4 and you get 3/4 left. So you have another family, right? Another family of 3 fractions. Alright, so please don't take 3/5 plus 3/4 equal total in the end. They don't belong to the same family. Alright, they belong to different groups, so you cannot plus all these fractions together. Okay, so let's continue reading. In the end, there were 30 more men than women. So can we put the 30 more men inside? If you can't put, then don't put. Alright, keep it simple, right? Don't make yourself confused. Keep it simple, alright? If you can't put, then don't put. Like model drawing, if you can't draw, then you don't draw. Alright, so let's jump to the next sentence. So how many men were there in the end? So your question mark is here. And we are done. Okay, so the table is done already. So what do you do next? You look at your table and you use it to work out the steps. So what do you look out for? Same box. What do you mean by same box? Can you see the 5/5 is in the same box as 1 unit and 350? So you write down 5/5 is 1 unit plus 350. Same box means they are equal to each other. So what's the next step? The next step is to find 1/5. Alright, always find 1/5 or 1 unit or 1%. Alright, so they can find how many is 3/5, how many is 2/5. So what is 1/5? You take 1 unit divided by 5, that will be 0.2 unit. And then 350 divided by 5, that will be 70. And there's a plus in the middle, you just put that inside. So 2/5 of the women left. So how many is 2/5? So 2/5 will be, you take 0.2 unit and then you times 2. And you get 0.4 units. And then 70 times 2, you get 140. Okay, and whatever you have found, put it into the box. Like model drawing, whatever you have worked out, you add on to your model so that it looks clearer. Alright, so 2/5 of the women left, which is how many? Minus. Left means you have to minus 0.4 units and then minus 140. So now can you find the after? So you take, how to find the after? You take 1 unit, which is the women at first, 1 unit minus 0.4 unit, and you get 0.6 unit. And then 350 minus 140, and you get 210. So this is the women in the end. Or you can do another way, which is to find how many is 3/5. So you take 0.2 unit, and you times 3. And then you take 70 and you times 3. And then there's a plus in the middle. And you will still get the same thing. Alright, what's the next step? Now the next step is to look at same box again. Can you see 4/4 is in the same box as 1 unit? So write out the same thing. 4/4 is 1 unit. So can you find what is 1/4? So 1/4 will be 1 unit and you divide by 4. Okay, so let's write again. So 4/4 is 1 unit. So 1/4 will be 1 divided by 4. Using calculator, that will be 0.25 units. So how many men left, which is 1/4? So minus 0.25 units. So how many remain? So 1 minus 0.25, 0.75 units. Okay, and of course you can find the total, right? Total in the end. You can also do that, right? But it's not necessary. Alright, so sometimes you don't have to fill in the boxes because it's not necessary, it's redundant. So you can leave the boxes empty, right? So over here is actually redundant. Alright, but if you're not sure whether is it necessary or not, then you continue to find what is the total in the end. Alright, so there were 30 more men than women. So we can't put the 30 more. So whatever sentence that you can't put, you have to try to connect to the table. So how do you connect? There were 30 more men than women. So every time you are stuck or you don't know how to do, then you think about model drawing again because you have more than, right? There's a more than. So how do we draw the model? There were 30 more men. So let's draw the model. Let me draw over here. All right. So there were 30 more men than women. So you draw a longer rectangle and a shorter rectangle for the women. And there were 30 more men than women. All right. So how many men in the after? So you look at the boxes, look at the after boxes, and you have 0.75 units of men in the after box. Then the women is 0.6 unit plus 210, and you have 30 more men than women. Alright, so that's how you draw the model. Okay, then what do we do next? Alright, now you look at the table, look at the model. Can you take the women plus 30 equal men? Alright, so how do we do? Now, you take the women, which is 0.6 unit, and you plus 210, this is the women, and then you plus 30, and that gives you the men, which is 0.75 units. Okay, right? Then what's the next step? The next step is to just add these two numbers together. So you have 0.6 unit plus 240, and that gives you 0.75 units. Okay, alright, now if you do not know how to continue from here, then let me just give you a simple idea. Now treat the statement as a beam balance. So the equal sign, which is over here, is like the center of the beam, right? This is the center of the beam. So you have the left side and the right side. So what do? You take out the smaller number, which is the 0.6 unit, and then what happened to the right side? The right side will become heavy. So you also take out 0.6. Alright, so when you take out means what? It means that you minus. So 0.75 and you minus 0.6, you will get 0.15 unit, which is equal to 240. Okay, alright, and then what do? You just rearrange your units so that it looks nicer. So you put the units on the left side. So 0.15 unit is equal to 240. So can you find 1 unit? So model drawing and the table is always to try to find 1 unit. So how to find 1 unit? You take 240 and divide by 0.15. And your 1 unit is 1,600. So every time you want to find 1 unit, you always divide. Alright, now you can solve the problem. Where's the question mark? Can you find how many men in the end, which is 0.75 units? Okay, so how do you get 0.75, or how do you find what is 0.75 units? You go back to 1 unit, which is 1,600, and now you have to times. Alright, to find how many units, you just times. Alright, so to find 1 unit, you divide. You take, whenever you want to find 1 unit, you always divide. If you want to find 20 units, or 0.75 units, or 3/4 units, you always times. So how do you times? You look at 1 unit, which is 1,600, times how many units that you see. Okay, and then let's work out using calculator, and you will get 1,200. So this is 1,200 men in the end, and you have solved your problem, right? Now it may look quite overwhelming, but this is a 5-mark question. So if you draw the model, you will also do something quite similar, right? Your steps will be also something quite similar. All right, so otherwise this is how you use a table method, and maybe some of you may find it a bit overwhelming because it seems like a lot of things to write, but it's all about the method. If you know the method well, then no matter what questions that you see, you will be able to use the method to work out the steps. Even if you can't get the answer, at least you will get some marks from your steps by looking at the table. Alright, so we come to the end of the lesson. Alright, so in the next lesson, alright, we will continue to look at tabulation, and we're going to look at harder questions. So the only way to do harder problems is to know your methods. If you don't know your methods, then you're going to struggle to try to do well for the exams. Alright, so we come to the end of the lesson, and stay tuned for next Saturday lesson. So every Saturday I'll be streaming my lesson, alright, on the heuristics, alright, on the different kinds of heuristics. So every Saturday at 8 p.m. alright, so you will need to try to watch it, solve the problem before you watch the video lesson, so that you can benefit from the lessons. Alright, so I'll see you on next Saturday.